Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, call him Captain America. The Yankee captain, Aaron Judge, named as the captain of Team USA for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And, of course, I'm sure most Yankee fans are probably not too happy with it and worried about the risk factor that comes with that. And, of course, we saw what it did is with the Mets and saying maybe he should not accept this role. But I'm going to argue that he should accept this role there. So we'll get into the whole conversation. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And, of course, also the YouTube version of the show afterwards. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So Aaron Judge mentioned as the team captain for Team USA. Also Andy Pettitte, the former Yankees, also going to be involved as a coach there as well there. So it's going to be a very Yankee Team America there going for the 2026 World Baseball Classic. And, of course, there's the hubbub of, should Aaron Judge possibly risk some sort of injury by doing this? And I understand why some Yankee fans have some reservations about that. But overall, I think it's a good thing. I think he should go forward with it for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is the realities of the situation. I think from the movie Spartacus, there's a line, about I think one of the senators or something has to jump in and actually do his job. And sort of like the whole idea is that, one of the parts of being a senator, you're actually obliged to act like one. Well, look at Aaron Judge right now. He is the face of baseball. I know he's cooled down a little bit after his super hot start there, but he's the captain of the New York Yankees. I know Ohtani maybe also you could say the face of baseball to a degree there, but right now it's a little bit more Aaron Judge. He is the face of baseball. He plays for the New York Yankees. He's a big guy. He's larger than life. The whole deal there. Like, how can he not play for Team USA? He's almost sort of forced to. So I put that, part just the way in there. And look, maybe, and he said himself that it bummed him out that he wasn't able to participate in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. Now, that at the time, obviously, he was negotiating with the Yankees on the contract there, so he felt it was improper, which makes sense there. Look, you're doing this big deal, which is going to be the big deal of your lifetime. How are you going to go out there and risk, getting hurt as you're negotiating what could be almost maybe a $400 million deal there? So I don't blame Aaron Judge for not wanting to participate there. It wouldn't be a proper time, and it's also not fair for the Yankees if they're about to pony up some big money there and he goes out there and blows his knee out or something like that. So I think it was proper for him to sit out 2023. But he mentioned that just by watching on TV, it did bother him that he wasn't out there just being American and being one of the biggest names in baseball and not able to participate in this there. So this time around, he's going to do that. And I think it's the right thing. Like I mentioned before, just his status of who he is. He plays for the Yankees. He's kind of the face of baseball. You kind of have to be out there. So I don't think it's a big deal. Now, for fans that are worried that he's going to get hurt, and of course, we all look back with the Mets when Edward Diaz, when he had the issue, obviously, they were all dancing on the mound there, and he tore his knee out and was done for the year. And Stephen Cohen of the Mets paid him a boatload of money there, and you lost that first year from him, being out like that. And we've seen some other similar situations. Of course, the Yankees with Nestor Cortez, he was going to pitch for them. Now he didn't get hurt, playing for Team USA there, but it was a situation he was going to play, but he might have the groin injury balked up on him, so he had to bow out there. And really, that whole season he wasn't good for he was kind of bothered by that. I don't know if playing for World, at least practicing or going to play for the Team USA had anything to do with that there. But you look at those little situations. But overall, can't really be worried about injuries like that. Man, you just can't play that way. And you can look back, this past history and other past Yankee captains. Look at Derek Jeter. Well, he played for Team USA. Did he get hurt? No. And I believe also, when Johnny Damon was with the Yankees as well, he also participated. He didn't get hurt there. So, I think it's maybe a little different with a pitcher. Maybe you'd be a little concerned if a pitcher was going to go out there, like Garrett Cole, for example. Okay, then I would hold my breath a little bit. A little different position players. Yeah, you could always go out there and, bang your knee into the wall or slide and break your wrist sliding to second base. Those are all possibilities. But those are also possibilities with spring training. Those are possibilities, when you're doing some off-season workout program like that. You could be taking batting practice and your buddy hits a ball and whacks you in the head when you're not looking. So you can't really let injuries, dictate them and prevent you from participating, stuff like that. So if Judge was a pitcher, or if Garrett Cole is being involved there, maybe then I have a little bit more reservation. But Aaron Judge, a position player, I don't think it's as big of a deal. Obviously, these guys, they know the situation. They know they have a baseball season ahead of them after the World Baseball Classic there. So, I think they know how to handle their bodies, handle the workload. The managers and the coaches that are involved with that, they understand a lot of them also, like Andy Pettitte, they're involved with the Yankees and they're involved with baseball. So they know, not to push guys too much. And I think they have a good head on their shoulders of, again, not overextend anybody or do anything that's going to get anybody hurt there. And again, you can't play that way anyway. You're not going to be effective if you're just going to go out there all the time and tip tiptoe around and think you're going to get hurt there. So I have no problem with it. I don't have any reservations. Judge going to get hurt, anything like that. Could it happen? Yeah, but I don't think it's a big deal. So I think it's the right decision by Judge. And I just think he's just obligated because who he is, his status in baseball. For him to not play there, it would be like going back a couple years if Hideki Matsui didn't play for Team Japan. It would just be a big controversy. How can you not? I know the one situation, I believe, towards maybe the end of Mariano Rivera's career, he was kind of being pressured a little bit, and he kind of mentioned that, yeah, it's great, but my obligation is to the Yankees. That's a little different at that point. I mean, he was well within his late 30s. Obviously, he's different. He's a pitcher. He's a closer. And, yeah, could he done it there? But he has his own warm-up routine. And at that point, he was sort of very particular. You don't want to mess with his sort of his program. So that's a different situation with the Mariano Rivera in your late 30s and you're a pitcher and not wanting to go out there to hurt yourself and then hurt your ability to perform for the Yankees during the regular season. That's a totally different ball game. With Aaron Judge as a position player, that's a completely different thing there. So Yankee fans who want Judge to be like, no, I'm not going to risk getting hurt because I play for the New York Yankees. They pay me well, and that's my number one mission. No, I just think that's a totally different ball game for Judge there, and I don't think it's him being selfish or putting himself over the Yankee organization or his obligation. And in fact, the Yankees may just want him out there as well, just to sell baseball. I mean, the last World Baseball Classic, the ratings were off the charts. It's for selling baseball and for selling the Yankees and selling everything else. You have Aaron Judge out there. That's a sales tool. That's a sales chip. So, maybe the Yankees would maybe Cashman maybe necessarily won't love the idea, but as a whole, I think a lot of Yankee fans and baseball players and MLB and Rob Manfred all want Judge out there helping to sell the game, and I think it's a good thing. So I don't think it's a big deal, and he'll be fine. I don't think he'll get hurt. Judge. I think he knows the situation, and if there's something he doesn't feel good, he's going to tweak to stuff like that. I don't think he's going to run through a wall, do anything crazy to upset his Yankee season. He's the Yankee captain as well. I'm sure he's cognizant, not to push himself too far to do something that hurts him for the regular season for the Yankees. So that's the episode, short and sweet. There, that's kind of my take on Judge being named the captain. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for baseball. I think he's obligated to do so, and I think it's something he wants to do, and I think it's a good thing for baseball. So I'm okay with him doing it. And injuries could happen anytime, anywhere. So you can't live that way. It's just not a good way to play and so forth. So that's the episode. Catch you next time.